Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today we're going to be discussing, hide my bra. Today we're going to be discussing episodes 3 and 4 of the Shadow and Bone TV show, which is the new Netflix adaptation. So yes, I'm excited because I feel like episodes 3 and 4 was where I really started like getting invested and like this is like having a good time, and it kind of took on like, not just because I feel like I enjoyed the first episodes because it was like, this is a book series that I really enjoy and like seeing it on screen, but whereas I feel like episodes 3 and 4 it really started like finding its footing and like becoming its own show kind of, and there was a lot of humorous moments. But first of all, we have to talk about Milo the goat because I have a new true love and his name is Milo. Okay, at first, so in my like notes, I have my like notes for each episode written. So the first thing I have, I'm worried about goat. And because we just see Kaz like walking along the street holding this goat. I'll try and put pictures in. And like when there's a goat in the arms of Kaz Beckett, you know to be worried about that goat. Okay, then my next goat note, what does it say? I've written not Kaz and the goat, which I assume means there's a scene where Kaz is like walking the goat on its little lead. Oh no. First of all, before we get to that, Kaz comes to Inej with the goat and they just have this like little scene where Inej is like looking at the names of the saints or something, but Kaz is just casually holding the goat. And then the next scene when we see the goat is when he's got like on a little lead when they're on the way to like the train, because they're gonna go through the shadow fold on this like conductor's wagon thing. So yeah, I was very worried for the goat at that point. I've written the goat on its little lead. And then Kaz says don't get too attached when he's talking about the goat, and I've written I'm now attached. So yeah, I got attached to the goat very quickly. But it's so cute. Oh. The goat has a name, Milo. Then we'll get to the rest of the goat stuff later. But yeah, I had to get that out of the way. But back to, anyway, the main plot line. So the episode starts with like Elena getting bathed by by Genya, and I love Genya so much. The actress who plays her is just perfect. She like embodies the character so well. She's gorgeous. I like have a major crush, but she just, I don't know, something about it just, she's just so good as Genya. So I really love that, and I actually liked her like white outfit. I don't know, I just thought it was good. So yeah, and the little line I've written, help the queen with her sagging tits or something. I thought that was so funny. I really liked like Elena and Genya's friendship. I thought that was really nice. Yeah, we see quite a bit of it in these episodes, and then we meet Nina, which is cool. And I actually quite liked how she was introduced, like, because she's almost about to meet up with the crows, which is cool, but then she gets kidnapped by like Fjerdan witch hunters, and she ends up, yeah, so we just see the scene of her getting kidnapped. But I like the scene where she's introduced and like she comes out of the shadows with a like hat on. Yeah, I actually really like the actress playing Nina. I know a lot of people had problems because like it wasn't a plus size actress that was cast, and Nina is obviously plus size in the books. I think personally I have slightly mixed feelings on that, but I know a lot of people were quite hurt by that casting, so that's definitely very valid. And again, I'll try and link some things like in the description, but I don't feel like it's the actress's fault either way, because obviously the higher powers that be, they're kind of the ones who are responsible for those choices. But I thought the actress did a good job. And then we're back to the crows again, and like Jesper's told to go and buy this coal and Kaz gives him some money, but then Jesper ends up getting in the betting, and oh, that was like, poor Jesper, no, don't make bad decisions. But yeah, so I felt for Jesper in that moment. I feel like we didn't really explore that much, or we haven't so far in the show, of Jesper's like gambling problem, which is obviously a big part of the books, but we did get to like see a little bit of that, and I just love the actor who plays Jesper. He's so good, like he just captures Jesper so well. Okay, so then we go back to the Ravkins, and Elena is like being presented to the king and queen. And like crown room scene. It's sort of, it was like the scene out of Hogwarts when they're like all coming down the stairs and they're like in their little lines with the keftas of the different colours. But Elena wears this really strange like veil thing, and I feel like that was a choice, especially when she's wearing it in her like soldier's uniform. That was very strange. I feel like it suited the kefta slightly better, but yeah, the veil was a bit odd. General Kirigan presents Elena to the king and queen, which I'm pretty sure happens in the books, and we see Vasily. We haven't had any mention of Nikolai so far, which I feel like he definitely was mentioned in book 1, but I really, really hope there's a season 2 of the show, because I need Nikolai. I just need him. But yeah, so we see that, and like Elena displays her powers, which is cool. Yeah, I've written again, why does Elena's power always come for her face? So I talked about this in episodes like 1 and 2, but every time Elena's like, her powers, they always seem to like come out of her face, and it's so weird. I feel like it was much better when they started making it out of her hands. That just looks so much better. I don't know. Maybe it's showing like she doesn't have any control over her powers, so it's just coming out of whatever part. But yeah, that was a little bit weird. Like, I feel like that's the CGI that's slightly dubious, the light stuff especially. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun watching it, and I feel like this episode in particular, there was quite a lot of humorous moments. I think it was Milo was just making the episode, but yeah, I just enjoyed their like almost not lightness, but I feel like, because like Six of Crows in the book, it does it quite well as well. It's like quite dark, but there's also quite a few moments of like light humour, so I feel like it kind of captured that quite well. Yeah, and then we got Kaz and the goat again. I've written simping for the women, just all the women of the show, especially Jenya every time she was on screen. Ugh. Zoya, I know I talked about her in episode 1 as well, but like I know she's kind of a villain, sort of. She's quite mean to Elena, but I just love her. Elena, oh, the actress who plays her is amazing. Nina, yeah, I already mentioned Nina, I love her. Inej, oh, queen, just everyone. Okay, and then we see Matthias, I think it's Matthias in Six Crows. Every time I hear Matthias, I always think Matthias Nonius from Gideon the Ninth now. But yeah, we see Matthias on the ship, and he like goes up to Nina's in the like chains, and then he brings her like her food, and I just feel like the actors who played Nina and Matthias has so much like good chemistry. You can just like see it from the first moment they interact, and like when he's trying to like feed her that, I don't know, it looked like a pastry, and she like spits it back at him. It was just so like enemies to lovers peak. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that, like Nina just going off at Matthias, like saying you're not a good person. Well, she wasn't saying she was basically saying you're not a good person and like attacking his morals, because yeah, Matthias is definitely someone who's been brainwashed, and I can't wait to see where their like story goes, because I haven't finished the season yet, but knowing how it ends, because it's like how Six of Crows starts, I'm not ready for that emotional like trauma, because we're kind of seeing Nina and Matthias's like backstory almost in this one, because like pre-events of Six of Crows. So yeah, we sort of see their storyline, what was happening in flashbacks in Crooked Kingdom, I feel like, or maybe it's flashbacks in Six of Crows, of how they like met. And then the crows, so they've got their goat, and they've Inej has got something, and they've got the conductor, so they're like all ready to cross the Shadowfold, and then they're like, where's Jesper? And then Jesper comes running, being chased by all these like hooligans with guns, because obviously he must have like upset them when they were betting or something. And I just written Jesper being a bisexual disaster getting chased, which is so true. And I felt so bad for Jesper, because Kaz always has this thing where like Jesper's like useless, or Jesper thinks that. But yeah, and I feel like that just, and then he's like, did you get the money, or like, what did you do with the money? And it was like, I just did it betting. And then it's like, yeah. So that scene, just Kaz and Jesper, I just love their dynamic. I thought that was cool, like the like little wagon thing. I think it's like a train. I think they were on train tracks or something that was like going through the fold. So they're like going through, and they're like Volker are like haunting them, and then Milo's there. On one of my favourite scenes was when like the conductor's like, take the goat, Jesper, and Jesper's like, no, I'm not throwing it out, I won't use it as bait. And then the conductor's like, it's not for bait, it's for you to hug it and calm down. Yeah, so then Jesper hugs the goat, and then he like, the Volker are like getting through to them, and then he like has the goat and he holds, and he's like hugging, and then he starts shooting the goat. Not the goat, he didn't shoot the goat. That would be heartbreaking if that happened. He starts shooting the Volker, and it's like this badass Jesper moment, and we see Jesper's worth. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And we see like Jesper's like sharpshooter abilities. Yeah, and then we like see them coming out the other side of the fold, so we know they've made it through safely. And then back to the Ravkins. So we have Zoya and Elena like having their little fight. And like Elena's like, I'm gonna fight Zoya, and then like the second the fight starts, Zoya just punches her in the face and like knocks her out. Which, I mean, first of all, I would let Zoya punch me in the face, just saying. And then Zoya like attacks her with the squalor powers and like hits her into the wall. And then we see Elena like in the library, and the Apparat shows up, and I feel like they did a very good job with him. Like, he's very creepy in the show. Like, he just keeps popping up out of nowhere and like spewing like religion, or not, it's not even religion, it's like the kind of faith stuff, because that is kind of his role in the first book. He just sort of introduces these like principles of the faith. But I feel like, I think it was like well cast and well acted. Like the scenes where he just keeps like appearing, and like Elena's quite freaked out by it. But yeah, I thought they did quite a good job with that. And like when she's like in the library, and then someone like, you see someone like, you know, the classic like library horror scene where like someone's, and then you just see someone moving in the stacks behind, and then he like appears. It's like the character that like is always watching, that kind of thing. And I think it's a later episode when he has his little spiel about what's more powerful than 1,000 armies. It's like faith. And I definitely feel like that was a direct quote from the book, because I'm sure I've heard that before. But I thought that was good as well. That was a good scene. Then we see Elena and Bagger together. Elena starting her like little training, which the actress who plays Bagger was really good. I think I'll talk about that in my next like 2 episodes, because there's a scene with Bagger and Darkling, and that was just so like well acted. Yeah, so Elena's like, and like Bagger like hits her and like, bring the light. And then in the end of the episode, and Elena's like, you are my true north, Mal. That whole like true north principle, because then I think the next episode ends on Mal like writing a letter back to Elena saying like, you are my true north, or when I was talking about true north, I was talking about you. That was very like emotional. I love them. Yeah, and the fact that they were writing letters to each other, I don't think we've actually found this out from the show, but I'm pretty sure in the books it's Genya who's like on the Darkling's orders, not sending off Elena's letters or like giving her the ones that Mal is sending. So yeah, and they're not getting them, which is a bit heartbreaking. Okay, and then on to episode 4. Yeah, I've got Mal not getting Elena's letters, sad face. Mal's just on his own. And then we see Genya again, who, queen. And then, oh yeah, okay, and then we have a little Elena and the Darkling bonding moment. And I know he's not called the Darkling, it's General Kirigan, but I'm just going to call him the Darkling. And he's like, call me Alexander. Which, first of all, in the books, I'm pretty sure it's like, we don't find out his name until very late on. But when he said it, it was like, I'm pretty sure he literally said, call me Alexander or something. And it just made me think of Call Me COVID from Kissing the Coronavirus. which is such a bad analogy to have. But yeah, so that was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I really like Ben Barnes. He's a very good actor. I think I've said this already, but just his performance is very like subtle. You can see how he's very like torn almost. And I guess we don't quite know what he's torn about yet, but I feel like he does portray an extra sort of element of kind of empathy for the character, even though he's quite evil. But still, people do like the Darkling, and I think he does like portray that quite well. Oh yeah, I've written crows but no Milo. I'm worried. But then Milo does show up, which is okay. Yeah, but then Jesper has to say goodbye and like gives Milo his little bullet necklace and like is hugging him. Oh, and I feel like he names him. That's when we find out the goat's name is Milo. But yeah, so we said goodbye to Milo. But Milo sort of had a happy ending because he's now living happily in someone's care. But hopefully we'll see him again in the last 2 episodes, which I haven't gotten to yet. I'm holding out hope. And hopefully Milo will be back in season 2 because clearly he's a fan favourite. There's like so much on Twitter about him. So yeah, I'm fully hoping for Milo reappearance. The Darkling and Elena have more like bonding moments, which they definitely have really good chemistry, the actors. Yeah, and like the Darkling has all these iconic lines like "you and I are going to change the world," and what I can't remember what else, but he has several. And then I've written WTF is Kaz's outfit because I feel like that's the outfit when they've arrived. So they've now arrived in East Ravka, and I think they've arrived in like the town where the little palace is. And Kaz has this really strange outfit on, which I just don't know what was going on in that moment. Oh, that was very weird. So the crows are planning a heist because they're gonna go into the little palace, and I feel like in this episode we see them like stealing the blueprints for the little palace. Yeah, which was quite cool. I like that scene. Yeah, and there's a scene where Elena is like the guard because not Elena, Inej is stealing the like blueprints for the palace, and the guard comes in, and then like Inej is like following him behind him, and it's almost like a little dance, and I thought that was really cool and like a demonstration of the wraith, like the whole like following him, and I really like that moment. Yeah, and then we get a scene where the Darkling is talking about Nina Zenik, which is so cool, and like the Darkling, like obviously Nina is working for the Second Army. Is the Second Army the Grisha? I always get confused. Or and yeah, and like talking about Nina and how Nina's now gone missing, so they want to search for her, and I thought that was so cool. Or maybe that's a later bit, but anyway, he's talking about Nina and like having her as an agent and stuff, and I got very excited in that moment. Because like, and I'm sure like in Six Crows we hear Nina talking about like the Darkling as almost like a mentor. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And I like that like little connection. Yeah, and then we see Mal and his 2 Yorkshire lad friends, and they have these massive, like I thought they were Fjerdins at first, these massive like coat things on when they've gone like into the north to try and track the stag down. And we see them like crossing into Fjerdin territory, and then they get like attacked by the Fjerdins, and then the 2 Yorkshire lads die, which is very sad. And Mal like gets attacked, but I think Mal survives. But as he's like lying there, and it's the True North thing, and we hear him like narrating the letters, and oh, that was very emotional. I already talked about the True North thing, but yeah, that was emotional. Okay, and then back in time to earlier in the episode because I just skipped ahead a bit there. See Nina and Matthias again. Yeah, I really liked Nina's banter. I feel like I already talked about this, but I'm very excited for when the waffle line comes up, which is like Nina's like, "I love you more than waffles," and Matthias is like, let's not say things we don't mean. Which I love that line. I feel like them especially, we got quite a lot of like almost word for word scenes from the book, which is cool. But yeah, I've heard some people say that Matthias's accent was dodgy, which I guess I didn't really notice because I don't know 100% what like a Norwegian accent would sound like. but apparently it's bad, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I just like their like chemistry. It was really good. Yeah, and then there's a scene where Jesper comes and is saying something, and then Inej and Kyle's in like unison are like, shut up Jesper, and then Jesper's like, I miss Milo. Which I love that scene. I feel like the three of them were just iconic trio, and I can't wait for it to become an iconic, I don't know what this, no, it's sextuplet, I don't know. But yeah, and I feel like they should really rename it Seven of Crows, because Milo is now an honorary crow. Okay, yeah, and we find out how the crows are gonna like get into the palace, and they're gonna join this like circus act, which actually is quite similar to what happens in Six of Crows and how they get into the ice palace. But Inej is gonna pose as this like dancer, on the like ropes. Oh, I can't remember what they're actually called. Is it like silks, flying silks? No. There's a term for them anyway, but it's like the kind of dancing with the like ropey things. Yeah, no, silky things. I don't really know. But anyway, Inej does a really cool dance with them, which I love that moment. That was like another women moment. Inej is like holding over the card in her hand, and then like Jesper shoots the card, and that's cool. Okay, and then we have another Elena and the Darkling scene where they're like in the room, in the Darkling's like map room, and Elena like comes in and they're talking, and like the shadows come, and then Elena like gets rid of them with the light. And then there's the do you want to build a snowman scene, which I have so named, and it's where like Elena is walking out and she like walks through the door, and then so you have like Elena there, and then the Darkling like walks up to the door, and then Elena like goes away, and it's very like cinematic. But it just reminds me of the do you want to build a snowman with like Elsa and Anna on either side of the door. But yeah, I did think that was like a cinematic scene, and quite like metaphorical, I guess, especially with the idea of like Elena clearing away the Darkling shadows. I like that. But then also Mal sees the stag, is it Moravotsko's stag, before he like gets rescued. Oh, I don't think he gets rescued. I don't know, I can't remember exactly. I'm sure he gets shot or stabbed or something, but I think he manages to survive. But he sees the stag anyway. So that's quite cool. And then we also get the flashbacks of when like Mal and Elena back in the like army camp, and Elena's been put in jail because she punched someone, but then Mal punches the quartermaster as well and gets thrown in jail with her, and that was just like a little bonding moment, which was so cute. I love like getting the flashback scenes of them like together, because I feel like that just added more to like the relationship. Yeah, what else have I got? But then, yeah, so we had that, but then at the same time, Elena's like thinking Mal doesn't care about her anymore because she's not getting any of his letters. So she decides, in order to like help her powers and also forget Mal, because now she's in love with the Darkling, like erases the scar on her hand from when they were like together in the orphanage, which was a little bit heartbreaking. But yeah, so that's all my notes from these two episodes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this discussion, and let me know in the comments what your favourite thing about these two episodes was. But if it's not Milo the Goat, then I don't want to hear it. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.